The May 20th, 2019 Prescott Valley Board of Adjustment meeting is now called to order. For the information of the public, the Board of Adjustment is an impartial body made up of residents of the town of Prescott Valley who volunteer their times and efforts and are guided by state and local rules and regulations. When you address the board, please state your name and address for the record. Only one person at a time may speak, and all remarks must be addressed to the board as a whole. As chairperson, and I am chairperson Linda Shimon, I beg your pardon for not stating that when I called the meeting to order, I would like to introduce the town employees who are present. Staff members are Fernando Gonzalez, Supervisor of Code Enforcement, and Ms. Christy Jones, Administrative Support. May I ask if Christy will call the roll, please?
Chairperson Shimon?
Here.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Here.
Member Corrigan?
Here.
Member Van Boening?
Here.
Member Brower?
Here.
I ask if there are any changes or modifications to the minutes of the February 25, 2019 meeting.
Madam Chairman, I would like to make I think it's a typo. Page 9, paragraph 3. I just had the member name of Brower, just an N has been added to my name. I'm sure it's a typo, either that or the secretary wants to make sure we read the minutes.
Yeah, it is a test, and you passed it. I will get that corrected.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any further changes or modifications to the minutes? None being offered, I would call for a motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
So moved.
May I have a second?
Second.
And may we have a voice call vote?
Chairperson Shimon?
Aye.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Aye.
Member Corrigan?
Aye.
Member Van Boening?
Aye.
Member Brower?
Yes.
I ask at this point if there are any announcements from staff or board members. Hearing none, I will read into the record the first item on our agenda. UP 19001, upon the application of Tom Outer, agent for J&J Equine Enterprises, LLC, a request for a use permit per section 13-19A-020C1 of the Town of Prescott Valley zoning ordinance in order to allow a caretaker to have residency in a PL zoning district. The subject property is located at 10501 East State Route 89A, Prescott Valley, APN number 401-01127. Mr. Gonzalez, may I have the staff report, please?
Sure. Thank you. The zoning district for the subject property is a PL zoning district. The PL zoning districts allow uses such as what's present there as Yavapai down the racetrack. The applicant is asking that any essential personnel or associates, caretakers, be allowed to reside on the property during the months that they're in service for the racetracks. These personnel are important because they take care of the animals, the horses. They're actually their breeders, take care of any issues that they may have, and they have to be on site in order to really work and make sure that they're being fed right, their medication, the health. So it's essential for them to be there, and that's why they're asking for the use permit. And actually, Town Code under the zoning district, section 13-19A-020C1 does allow this with the benefit of a use permit for them to do that. Due to the facts that the town does allow it with a use permit, staff is recommending approval of UPN 19-001 with the following conditions. It's important to note that I did have a conversation with Member Brower in regards to certain conditions that I thought were also important. So I went ahead and added these, and those are going to be included in this. Number one is that all residents comply with Chapter 15th of the zoning code, that building permits be required for any changes or alterations to the property and be secured prior to construction. That the duration of the permit be for 2 years and subject to renewal at that time. Number 4, that any occupancy be limited to 2 people per unit. Signs with emergency information, for example, fire, police, or any responsible party, in case of an emergency, that they'll have that contact information posted throughout the area where they're going to be residing, and that all enforcement or safety procedures be monitored by Yavapai Downs personnel. And that's all I have for you today. Yeah, I'd be prepared to answer any questions you may have, and I believe the applicant is also in the audience.
Madam Chairman,
You're recognized, sir.
I and met with the manager of the racetrack this morning, and I was really impressed with their enthusiasm to make it as safe as possible. I recited a few racetrack fires that in the past 30 years, and what the main cause was: extension cords, electrical, or basically heating elements, and that weren't OSHA approved, UL labeled, stuff like that. Couple of my concerns with management was that the fact that these people have a tendency to gather more than 2 per room. They have a tendency to try to cook on hot plates, microwaves, and stuff like that, and they feel real concerned about that, and they promise they will monitor it and inspect it regularly, because they have a lot of investment in that property to date, and they don't want a mishap or something drastic thing happen. And we talked about additional signs that need to be put up there, especially one that you mentioned in case of emergency. Who do you call? What's the number? What's the location? Stuff like that. And they're really, really flexible and really love to get everything in order to make sure it's a safe environment out there.
And we believe that that's true, and that's why we included those as part of the conditions.
Are there any other questions? Would the applicant care to address the board?
Board members, my name's Tom Author. I'm one of the owners of Arizona Downs. It's Joe Jackson on the left is also an owner, and Preston Lunsford is our head of our construction. And I really don't have anything to say, but when somebody says, would you like to address the board, I thought it would sound bad if I said, no, I don't want to address the board. But I really don't. I'll answer any questions, but we're really excited to get started on Friday. You're all invited up there. We just heard from the horsemen today. We have a full field for the first weekend, which they thought would never happen. So we've just been very, very lucky with our group, and with the community in general has been fantastic. Fernando's done a great job. I really got to take my hat off to Larry Tarkowski. He's been a huge help to us also. So everybody's been great.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on your due diligence that you've done out there, and good luck to you, and hope all the success in the world.
Thank you. We really hope we can make it work. It's, I don't think anybody believes us, but we got this far, so we'll keep it going.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will now open.
Question.
I'm sorry?
Sir? I'm sorry, one question. How many days a week are you going to be racing?
We're going to run 4 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday over the Memorial Day weekend. Then we'll run Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll run Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4th of July, then Saturdays and Sundays, and then we'll do a 4-day meet, Labor Day, and we'll finish on Labor Day. So it's a total of 35 days.
And you're doing okay getting horses?
Oh, that's been great. I mean, it's been, you may get it, I'll digress a little. Turf Paradise is so committed to making us not succeed. The way we make our money is through the OTB process, off-track betting, and we get signals from all the various racetracks. Patrons come in, bet on those racetracks, we pay for that signal, and we take a little off the top to pay for our purses. A partner of Turf Paradise is Monarch Content Management, which is owned by the Stronach Group, which owns Santa Anita, amongst other places, have refused to send us their signal to our OTB network. And that's 42% of the handle in the state of Arizona. So it has really, really hurt us in our OTBs. So we're reaching into our pockets to the tune of a couple $1 million to make sure we have those purses. Next year, hopefully, we'll have that signal. We're in front of the legislature now with a regulation, a bill that is what every other state has that lives off OTB purse money, that says if you send a signal in Arizona, every permittee gets it, or you don't send it in Arizona. I mean, it's just, Turf, for example, who knows, these guys could own half of Turf Paradise and say, let's shut these guys down so we have a monopoly, or what. So that's why no other state allows that. It's made it through the Senate. We'll be in the House either late this week or early next week if we can get that passed. So we would, to the extent anybody can help us with that, with any of your legislators, Representative Pierce has been fantastic. Representative Campbell's been great. Senator Fan has been fantastic. So we're extremely fortunate that the political powerhouses happen to be in our backyard. Otherwise, we'd be in a. But at any rate, that's really the only threat to our survival, and hopefully we'll get that figured out here over the next 5 or 6 months. But to the extent you can get a hold of anybody and say, listen, you vote for that. What is it? 2547, Joe? 2547. Again, it's passed through the Senate. We're hopeful it'll pass through the House, but the Turf Paradise guys are lobbying pretty hard.
Madam Chairman, I have a question for you. I'm just wondering about, in other racetracks, is this common to have sleeping rooms and rooms for the grooms?
Almost everywhere. We'd
Everywhere,
like to do dorms someday. The problem is, if a horse gets up in the middle of the night and is colicky or something, these guys have to go run it. We were going to set up a nice little sleeping quarters in the Coors Event Center, but they said, no, we got to be sleeping next to the horses. Seems crazy. We thought we were doing a real, nice thing for them, humane, but they said, no, we want to sleep here in these stables. So that's what they do.
Right, I'm just curious.
Yeah, they're comfortable. That's just what they do. Anything else? Great. Again, thank you very much. The whole community has been amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to be a long-term great endeavor. It's really going to be a big thing, I think, for the area, and we're enjoying it.
All right.
Thank you.
I will once again open the matter to the public, should anyone care to address the board. And hearing or seeing no one, I return the item to the board for closing discussion. Gentlemen. No closing discussion. As chair, I will call for a motion.
So moved. I'll second it.
I add to the second that it is my understanding we are approving this with with staff recommendations in place, including the additions made by Mr. Gonzalez this evening. I would like that understood. We have a motion. We have a motion. We have a second. May we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Brower?
Yes.
Member Van Boning?
Yes.
Member Corrigan?
I just want to note for the record before I vote that I am a member of the Arizona Thoroughbred Breeders Association. However, I have no connection with the track. I have no horses. So I don't think there's any conflict of interest. And based on that, I'm going to vote yes.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Yes.
Chairperson Shimon?
Yes. We will go now to the second item on the agenda, UP 19002, upon the application of Chris Graft, agent for Asphalt Paving and Supply Incorporated, a request for a use permit per section 1314020C10 of the Town of Prescott Valley zoning ordinance in order to allow outside temporary storage in the C2 zoning district. The subject property is located at 3314 Glassford Hill Road, Prescott Valley, APN number 103-02942. Mr. Gonzalez, the staff presentation, please.
Thank you. The subject property is located in a C2 zoning district. Currently, it's being occupied, actually, the location is actually a vacant lot, but the surrounding area is all retail. The area, or the reason for this is because we're doing the Sunset addition along Sunset Drive all the way to Sunset and
Prescott East.
Prescott East, thank you. I couldn't, for some reason, from Glassford Hill to Prescott East. And we're doing that, and we're requiring or needing to have an area to stage materials for that project. The project is slated to be a 2-year project, and that's why we're asking, or will be asking, for a 2-year on this. The Town Code zoning ordinance under the C2 does allow for a temporary storage area under Section 13-14020C10 with the use permit. Due to these facts, the town is actually recommending the approval of UP 19-002 with the following conditions: that all screening requirements per town code be met, any building permits for any required things like the screening permits be set out and achieved prior to any installation or construction, that the duration of the permit is for 2 years and subject to renewal at that time, and 4, again, I had a conversation with Mr. Brewer, and I think this is kind of important to put on there in regards to the environmental, that no maintenance of vehicles or equipment be conducted on site or fuel storage. We don't want anything spilling out into the ground. And if for some reason something like that does happen, condition number 5 is any and all environmental issues that happen in regards to this storage facility be addressed prior to the end of this contract or lease. That's all I have. Do you have any questions? I'd be happy to answer at this time.
Mr. Johnson is recognized.
I have a couple of questions. I live in that area and on Meadowlark, and we go behind Kohl's to go to Walmart.
Oh, yes.
And right now, the utility company is using that site, maybe without a permit, but they bring in dirt in and off of there, and there's some stuff stored there.
Oh.
So I don't know if you knew that or not, but anyway,
No.
it's happening.
Okay.
So we meet backhoes or front-end loaders coming through there on occasion. So the one thing I would like the city to do is to remove the curb on Sunset on that back alley. It's a no right turn right now. The contractor that's working now has broken up the curb by driving over it with their equipment. And I think maybe that should be modified so they can make a right turn because they're doing it anyway.
Sure.
So, but I mean, something should be done about that. I think maybe the town would take much to do that, fix that. But
I'd be happy to make that recommendation for you.
otherwise, that's the only place they have really to store the equipment.
That's true. There is nothing in that area or near or the vicinity. Everything else is residential, and this is why they were forced to lease this property.
Other questions? I would invite the applicant to address the board, but I do not see the applicant. I would also open the item to comment from the public. I do not see anyone from the public. So the item is now brought back to the board for closing discussion. Gentlemen, have you matters to discuss?
Madam Chairman, as I spoke to Fernando about the idea that I looked up, the owner of that property is not the asphalt company using it. The owner is Four Seasons Investments Company, LLC, and he made me aware of it, that they're given permission to do that. My main concern was that heavy equipment to be serviced at a time by off-duty maintenance people, refueling, greasing, oil changes, and stuff like that. to be very careful of the environmental of the property itself. Now, who's going to maintain that or review that after the contract's over, if I ask that?
Can I just, there is an agreement between Four Seasons in the packet? Between Four Seasons and the asphalt company, so I don't know if your question's addressed in there, but
And it-
it's,
That's on.
And it will be Four Seasons. It is their responsibility, and they will be monitoring that
Okay,
prior to the end of the lease.
all right,
Yes.
all right, that's the owner of record right now of that parcel.
That's correct, yes.
Right, thank you.
Other matters of discussion? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Again, I would like to add for the record that the motion is for approval of use permit 19002 with all conditions stipulated by staff for approval. We have a motion, we have a second. May we have a voice vote call, please?
Member Brower?
Yes.
Member Van Boning?
Yes.
Member Corrigan?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Yes.
Chairperson Schimmer?
Yes. We have covered all the agenda items that we have listed. I will open the meeting to further public comment. Again, seeing no public to comment, I will state there is no further business, and I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
May we have a voice call, please?
Member Brower?
Yes.
Member Van Boning?
Yes.
Member Corrigan?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Johnson?
Yes.
Chairperson Schimmer?
Yes. The meeting is adjourned.